What up, though, y'all? It's Chris, broadcasting to you from the D, out here getting my 10,000 steps in. It is a glorious day here in this Motor City. Let's get into the topic at hand. Got Daniel Chala, a Miami-Dade County deputy. He been in service to the community for over 30 years. He found himself in some legal trouble because he went out for a night having fun, a place called 11. He met a woman there, who we believe to be a woman anyway, all intents and purposes, gave the impression of being a woman. One thing led to another. They go home. They go back to his place. At some point during the encounter at his place, the Miami deputy discovers that this is not a woman, this is a dude on some BS. One thing leads to another. The trans person runs out, looked like they've been roughed up a bit, was bleeding from the mouth, and goes and calls the police. The police come out, they interrogate him. He's clearly intoxicated. They even bring that up. They asked what happened. He said nothing happened. I asked her to leave. Like, well, why'd you ask her to leave? Because I didn't care for her. I didn't like her. It's funny because he's being so careful about what he's saying, because even though the trans person is on total bullshit here, if he simply says it's a man and I don't swing that way, then he gets labeled, oh, you're transphobic and all this and that. He can't simply prefer women. He got to play the little game. So that's what was happening here. He was facing all types of charges, and the judge he had, I've seen her before. I've seen her in a viral video. She was presiding over a case, and the guy who was before her, she recognized him from elementary school. And the guy got to just crying. He just broke down there. I mean, she helped him get through the trouble that he was in. Unfortunately, it didn't have a happy ending. He ended up getting into some other trouble or whatever and having to go back before her again. And it's like, bro, going before her once wasn't embarrassing enough. Like, being in custody and the judge over your case is someone you've known since elementary, and she was saying how good of a person you were back then. That's why she remembered you, because you were such a nice person, and that she was gonna do what she could. Well, she didn't say this at the moment or whatever, but she wished him luck. And afterwards, she took a personal interest in it. She had a vested interest because this was somebody she knew. Helped him get out of the thing, which that could be a blessing or a curse, because when you help people out, they tend to not fully learn the lesson from it. The lesson that was supposed to be taught, they tend to not fully learn it. And I know I'm going on a tangent here, man, so bear with me. But anyway, that's how I recognized her. Dude ended up back in trouble, and that's how that ended. But I'm pretty sure it's the same judge. She looked very familiar. But ultimately, her and everyone else did the right damn thing. They ended up letting him go. He had $1,000 bail, so he got a low enough bail where he can get out and go take care of his business. And ultimately, thanks to his attorney and everyone else involved, this was dropped. And you know why it was dropped? Because every man can relate to the situation that he was in. All right. He goes home with someone that he presumes is a woman, and they turn out to be a dude. Right or wrong, you could agree or disagree. Most guys are going to react to that negatively. You could say, oh, he shouldn't have put his hands on him, and he could have acted more calmly. You can say all that when it's not your situation. If you're a straight male, you're not into the funny business at all. You don't do the rainbow stuff. And you meet somebody who you presume to be a woman at the bar, y'all go back, you doing a bunch of kissing and touching and, you sticking fingers in places and all that. And then you discover dude still got a package. Like, not only is it a dude, but it's a dude that hasn't even had the bottom surgery yet. Not that if they had the bottom surgery, they would no longer be a man. Of course, they still will be, because your bones, your DNA, your atoms, there's no tricking that, all right? You can do whatever you want to mutilate yourself. There's no tricking that. But regardless of the fact, this one didn't even have that done. So he responded negatively. And he was under the influence too, as he admitted to when he was being interrogated by the police. So that probably added to his frustration of the situation that he was in. He says he didn't put his hands on them. He just simply escorted them out, or he simply kicked them out or whatever. Of course he put hands on them. They allege he put his arm around their neck, seemingly in like some chokehold or whatever, and wouldn't let them leave. Possibly. As I said, man, I've said this plenty of times. Y'all have heard my videos. Not everybody playing out here, man. These little silly games that a lot of these people be playing, not all of them. I'm not going to paint the whole rainbow coalition with the same brush or whatever, because I believe there are some people on that side that have some good sense. I may not agree with their lifestyle, but I'm sure there's people over there that have some good sense and never would have found themselves in a situation like this. But it's people like this that give the rest of them such a bad reputation. Like really, it's people like this that play these silly little games that really make it hard to sympathize with the rest of them. So, in my opinion, justice was served. He's not going to serve any jail time. Everything's been dropped. He was on administrative leave, paid administrative leave. I don't know how that's going to go, what's going to happen next with that now that this whole thing has been closed. In my opinion, he didn't do anything wrong. He should be welcomed back with open arms. If you are out and you're being deceptive, you have to at some point disclose this. If you just want to feel pretty and blend in or whatever, fine. But don't go home with a guy knowing that he's expecting something else. All right, I'll just put it that way. We'll keep it. We'll try to stay PG as best as possible. I know that I've been failing to do that today. But if you know this man is expecting an experience other than what you're going to be able to give him, you need to disclose that. At some point, when you were still there at the bar, you should have disclosed this. Maybe at some point, walk into his car. It should not have been you all the way in the man's home and now he discovering, because at that point, yeah, he is going to respond more often than not violently, because you could have got out of this with him just being mad and, talking some shit or whatever while y'all was still at the bar. But to actually go home with him, you now a man in his house. Think about that. He at home, you disrespected him, you disrespected his home. You in here on some foolery stuff. All that is going to add to the rage. Again, y'all could disagree if you want to. I'm just telling y'all, man. Grown men don't play these silly little games. If it is a straight, masculine male, this guy, I know there's a lot of down low people out there, but this guy, for all intents and purposes, you just never would expect on any day, for any reason, him to be on this type of time. Again, I know some people be on the down low, but this just didn't seem like this would be one of them types. Like, not even close to being one of those types. You didn't think at any point this was a bad idea. And in the trans person's mind, how did they expect this to play out? When you get back to their house and they discover you not what they looking for, what were you expecting? Him to just dap you up and be like, oh man, it's all good. Yeah, I don't really swing that way or whatever, man. Here, let me call you an Uber again. Like, how did you expect this to play out? So you see all types of stories where there's a trans person that played this game and ended up 6 feet under from it. And I don't say that jokingly. But you see these stories where a person played these games and they ended up 6 feet under because of it. Why are there still more people continuing to play these games? The potential for the person to respond violently is extremely high. Stop playing these games with grown-ass men. I don't know how y'all gonna work it out about disclosing it. That's not for me to figure out because I'm not out here being a transformer. That's for you to figure out. Disclose what type of time you own. Do it if only for your own safety. I'm going to leave it there, though, you guys. Hit me with a like if you like what I do. Hit me with a sub if you like what I do. And hit me in them comments. I'll holler at y'all. Peace.